Well, we come to a storage room today to talk about island number 6, the island where we seek to understand as opposed to be understood, that we give forgiveness to those people who have harmed us, and we make amends for the harm that we do to others. And we talked about this morning the fact that this island was the first island on our journey to be that's not all about us. I mean, it's about us and what we do, but it's also too relating to other people. Up to this point, it's been all about what we need and what we're seeking and the personal relationship that we're trying to develop. And this island kind of turns us around to where we focus on the others in our lives. And we talked about the fact that that's a little different than what we've been doing so far. And we've come to the realization that we can't be us. Like, I can't be me without you, and you can't be you without me. We have to do it in a relationship. And how do we live into that relationship? And that was the important thing that we took a look at. So Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 through 14, clothing ourselves in compassion, kindness, meekness, humility, patience, all those things is what we talked about. And we used in the reference of the clothes that we are to wear. And above all, we're to never forget to wear the garment of love. That's the all-purpose garment. We're supposed to have it with us. We lovingly called it the underwear of our spiritual life, that we never go anywhere without our underwear. And that's love. And it was agape love. 6 different words in Greek for love, but this one was agape love. And it's love for all people. It's that sense of understanding that we are all in this together. And we might not like what somebody does. We might not like the decisions that we make, but we love them as people. Why? Because God first loved us. And that's why we love them. And so we were talking about the fact that this is an island that we got to spend a lot of time in and a lot of time on, because for many of us, it's hard to even admit that we're sorry. It's hard for us to admit that we have spent our entire lives seeking to be understood. We've spent our entire lives saying, I am woman, hear me roar. I am man, hear me roar. I am gay, hear me roar. I am poor, hear me roar. I am rich, hear me roar. We've gone so accustomed, I think, in our culture to standing up for who we are and making sure that our voice is heard, which is all good things. But I think we've gone overboard a little bit, and we've gotten to the place where now we are so busy trying to be understood that nobody is listening. Nobody's listening to anybody anymore. So that we just got a whole bunch of talking heads running around trying to be heard, and no one is actually listening. So no one is truly being heard. No one truly is achieving their goal. They're making a lot of noise, but they're not truly achieving their goal of being understood. And that's what we're called to do as followers of Jesus. When we surrender our secrets and take off our masks, when we take on that new life that is ours in Christ, we then turn that outward. And we say, how can I understand as opposed to being understood? How can I use my ears and listen with a servant's heart in order to have a better grasp of why people do the things that they do and why they are the way that they are? Not that you have to agree, not that you have to like it, but at least to understand it. Because there's going to be absolutely no way that you can make a connection with somebody until you understand where they're coming from, so that you can speak their language, so that you can meet them where they are. Many times when it comes to our faith in Jesus, and when it comes to church, when it comes to Christianity, we get really good at saying, hey, you come to where we are. Come to where we are, and then we will help you. And for a lot of people, that's just not an option. And it's growing more and more. The unchurched people are the percentage of unchurched people in our culture is getting bigger and bigger, because they don't have to. They don't want to come where we are. And so we have to follow the example of Jesus and do what he did and get out into the streets and go where they are. Jesus was the greatest example we could ever have of somebody who was working to understand as opposed to be understood. Anybody in the world who had the right to stand up and say, listen to me, listen here, Linda, listen to me, it was Jesus. Jesus had the right to do that, but he didn't. He didn't do that. He spent time with sinners. He ate with tax collectors and prostitutes, and he spent time with people. And we don't know a lot of the ins and outs of what the conversations were about, but I bet you any amount of money Jesus spent a lot of time listening to what people were saying, and listening to their emotions, and listening to their feelings, and listening to their hurts and their habits and their hang-ups, and meeting them there, because again, it's the old adage: no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And the only way that we'll ever demonstrate that we care about anybody is to invest in them, to seek to understand as opposed to being understood by listening with a servant's heart. The only way people will know we care is if we practice forgiveness. Not only do we give forgiveness when someone has hurt us, but also we seek forgiveness when we hurt others. Those are the kind of things that an unbelieving world is going to see and have a connection with, and say, okay, I might be interested in finding out a little bit about that because of who you are. I mean, that's a tall tale. I mean, a tall task. That is something that we're not going to achieve overnight. We're going to have to live on island number 6 for a while, and grow into it, and grow into being that person that understands, that person that forgives and seeks forgiveness. Well, that's about it for this week. I apologize about last week, and that was totally my bad. I just totally dropped the ball. We had a meeting after church. And after the meeting was done, I was talking to a few other people, and other things happened. The next thing you know, I'm driving home, and I'm like, "Oh, I never did the video," So I apologize about that. That was mine. But hopefully, you made it through the week without your Hot Fudge Sunday, and this week now you can watch it twice, so you can have a double helping of Hot Fudge Sunday. So as I say every week, until next week, I hope this week has a great you, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.